Welcome back to Marvel Mondays, where we're covering the MCU in release order. I was
Yes.
going to say chronological. I almost mixed up.
No.
That would have been wrong.
That would have been terribly wrong.
Where we try to cover the MCU films at the current moment in 10 to 15-ish minutes. Where right now we're on Avengers Age of Ultron, which is the second last film of
Phase 2. Also
Kind
the
of-
second Avengers film.
It's always weird when like the phases don't end with an event. It's always like, oh, Avengers, and then that extra. film.
Yeah. I mean, this phase does it. The first phase didn't, thankfully, but
No, but it ends up becoming a thing.
it becomes a thing real quick. Yeah.
So yeah, Age of Ultron. First off, before we go into some of the stats, what was your mindset going back into the film?
I recall watching this in theaters 10 years ago and being like, what a disappointment.
Is that what you felt like with 10
I
years
felt like
ago?
it wasn't disappointing. It was just okay.
I
Like,
remember
we
the hype
came out,
around like
like-
the Hulkbuster because we were really into pop figures
Yeah,
at the time.
we got the collector's box,
Yeah.
got the Hulkbuster.
Had the Ultron figure as well.
I think I was overly hyped because like First Avengers was great, Captain America: Winter Soldier was great, Guardians of the Galaxy was great.
That's fair. There was a
So,
lot of hype built.
A lot of build.
Once you got that
expectation.
Avengers title, it was like, well, better live up to what the first one was.
And we saw in the trailer that we were gonna get Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
There's a lot going on.
And I was like, oh, this is great. Ultron's a big villain. This is going to be a crazy film. So I remember watching it the first time and being like, wow, that was an okay film.
Well, here we go. It's our look back
But-
into it.
all right.
IMDb gives it a 7.3. Rotten Tomatoes, 75 critic score, 82 audience score. Budget was 444 to 500 million. And the box office was 1.4 billion. Back when Marvel was destroying. They could just not be
The
touched. They were
second,
just...
the second film to make over $1 billion. No,
Yeah.
third one I think.
Third, maybe.
Iron Man 3 made over $1 billion.
But they were just Phase 2, man. They were making
Cooked.
money. Studios Marvel, director Joss Whedon, release date May 1st, 2015. Cast, don't really feel like we really need to go deep. You know who the Avengers are. So
Core
I'll just
Avengers,
say
and then
James Spade was Ultron.
James Spader,
We had
yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen introduced as Scarlet Witch. Paul Bettany was Vision. Aaron Taylor Johnson was Quicksilver.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess shall we jump into dislikes, likes? What do you want? What are you feeling?
Let's
How
go
you
with
feeling?
likes to start. Why not?
Let's start positive.
Start positive. Obviously the chemistry between the Avengers always great.
I had the opening scene.
Opening scene, great example.
The no cuts.
No cuts. It was
Very
great.
cool.
Very cool. My only nitpick of the opening scene is that like so many people died. Cap was just yeeting people left and right.
Yeah, but they're not
Um,
against. It's not.
No,
like
no, it's not Batman. Yeah.
or Superman. It's
No, they're killing.
Captain
It's all right.
America. Literally is a war hero.
Um,
I don't think he has a problem eating
he's
anybody.
like so especially when they're
if they're Nazis.
yeah. I was gonna say the N-word, but you know.
Captain America does not like Nazis.
Likes the Hulkbuster fight, Hulkbuster in general,
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah. That's fair.
And then another one that continues with that chemistry is the hammer lifting scene when they're all drinking
yeah.
is just good. That whole scene though, like from that into Ultron doing the Pinocchio reference of like no strings.
No strings on me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh, this is a great way for this movie to start. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Um,
You're saying some of my favorite moments, so I guess we should combine our likes and favorite
oh,
moments.
true.
Because for likes, I had the opening scene was solid. I really enjoyed the increasing tension between Tony and Cap because we have a little bit of it in the Avengers.
Yep.
The first Avengers film. And then we kind of get a little bit of continuation where you can see like they kind of get along, but that they also see things so differently.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's just, we're building the tension up. I don't know why. Why are we building? Who knows?
I don't know.
But I really do love, especially like looking back to like the slow buildup of that, the way their relationship worked is very good. Vision picking up the hammer is hilarious in the moment.
Love it. And him
Especially-
copying Thor
We're at
for
that
his
like
cape.
dire moment too.
Yeah.
And he just they're like, how can we trust him? And then he picks up the hammer. He's like, let's go. And everyone's like, yeah, that seems like a
All right,
valid-
yeah.
makes
Can't argue with
sense
that.
now.
Yeah.
So favorite moments, I had the Thor hammer scene
Yep.
where everyone's trying to lift the hammer. Obviously, the squeaky little lift from Captain America is iconic.
Yeah, and just Thor in the background, just
Oh
then, like
man,
his eyes open.
the acting was on point
Yeah.
where he just just pure concern
Yeah.
of like, there's no way, right?
Yeah.
And then he like can. He's like, had me in the first half.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I also wrote down the Hulkbuster armor was also in there. Just looked cool.
Yeah.
Great fight. The Tony and Cap chopping wood scene, so that's in relation to the tension.
Yep.
But them having that discussion, you have Cap rip the piece of wood in half. Like, I don't know. There was just that scene was done so well. And Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. just are great together.
Yeah, they have such great chemistry. I mean, they have the one line in this movie which is reflected later on of the
I have that in my favorite moments.
Yeah.
We will lose, then we will lose together too.
Yeah, and we'll do that together too.
Iconic. I wrote next to it.
Yeah, well, yo, that's such a goosebumps. I got goosebumps
Because it comes up again.
Yeah.
Not that we know,
But the
'cause we're
reverse.
looking back,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
don't want to really go into super
Yeah.
spoilery, but that line just hits.
becomes so
And
important.
coming back to it, you're just
Yeah.
like, it hits so much harder.
Yeah. Two other favorite moments I got is the conversation between Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye in the middle of the fight. And Hawkeye's like, listen, if you want to stay in here and hide, it's fine. If you want to come out there, then you're an Avenger. Okay? There's robots attacking the city. I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Yes, that was hilarious.
And I'm like, yes. Honestly, Jeremy Renner, probably my favorite character of this movie.
Especially like when we see the development of seeing his family, his
Yes.
wife, and even his wife mentions she's like, they're gods.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Those are little, and
Yeah.
and she's like, and he's like, yeah, they don't need me. And she's like, no, they do need you.
Yeah. It's such a honestly his character development because his character is actually probably the most flushed out character because
At this point, for sure.
at this point, yeah. And even we'll see in future films too where he
Oh,
kind of we might not.
But you know what I mean? Like and I loved the scene where Scarlet Witch is about to mess with him and he like tases her with
Yeah,
his
he's like,
trick
"No,
arrow.
I've
and
already
he's like,
done that once.
Been there, done that. I
Yeah.
ain't doing that again.
Yeah. And then another moment that I don't have written down, but I really enjoy is it's at the end of the film. It's Cap, Thor, and Iron Man talking about if you put the hammer in an elevator and
Yes.
the elevator goes up, elevator's
physics-
not worthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
they're talking about it's like living rent free
yeah,
in Tony Stark and Cap's mind, the hammer. Definitely the hammer is the great. Just like I don't know who thought up that scene, but well done.
yeah, exactly.
Well done. Dislikes. I'm going to say the first one, which I feel like is going to be ongoing for the rest of this series, and that is so much slow-mo. I get it. We do have a quickster.
Yeah, I
in this
excuse it a
one.
little bit for that, but the slow motion special effects for Quicksilver were done so much better in the X-Men films.
Oh, yes.
I will stand by that.
I mean, I don't think that's a hot take.
No, I know. I don't think it is either.
The other thing is, in those films, a lot of it's used specifically for him.
Exactly.
And and showing him moving at that speed. Where in this film, yes, we saw a speedster, but also the slow-mo was just used in just whatever reason they wanted. It wasn't specific to Quicksilver necessarily.
No, the only one I'll excuse is the epic shot at the beginning, the slow motion of all the Avengers being on screen at the same moment.
of course, but that's
like
the
that's
intro.
a money shot.
But that's the intro.
But after
the cool following no cut scene,
Exactly.
it's kind of an epic entrance
Exactly.
where we're like, okay, they're an established team at this point.
Yep.
Which is something that's really good. So obviously, we skipped over the whole giant plot of this film, but for the most part, I guess the easiest way to sum it up is we start off seeing the Avengers as a unit, as a proper team at this point, and they're trying to get the Loki's scepter back.
Yes.
Which at this point we don't know, but we end up learning is the Mind Stone. So it's very important.
Yes.
In doing so, we have introduction of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who are created by the scepter. Now, this is before the mutants and X-Men were back in Disney's hands,
Yeah.
so it was kind of a workaround to get these characters in the film, I guess, by having them be
Experimented.
metahumans that were
Yeah.
created. In doing so, when Tony gets the staff back, his mind gets kind of wiggly wagglyed by that's what I'm wiggly
Wiggly
waggly
waggly.
by Scarlet Witch, and mostly just like enhances his fears that he already has. His like PTSD stuff that we've seen from Iron Man 3
Yep.
is brought into this film, and that's his basically desire to make sure what happened in Avengers 1 never happens to the world again. And in doing so, he does a very Tony Stark thing and kind of ends up without consent trying to move forward on a big project of AI. Wow, how scary is that? You know, a little fitting for the time now.
Ew.
And he uses the staff to help create a new AI or help, I guess, move forward on a project that him and
Hulk.
Dr. Banner
Yep.
have, which is Ultron. Now, in the comics, Ultron is not created by these two.
It's ironic because of the next film.
Yes.
We need to talk about that.
But
yeah.
regardless, comics aside, they
Yep.
already had Ultron as a plan to be like this shell, saving around the Earth to protect it from
Yeah.
alien invasion, basically. And in doing so, they create basically a Doombot that thinks the Avengers and humanity as
Are
a whole are doomed, and they're the problem, and it should just
Eradicate.
start over.
Yeah. Doing so, it
And-
destroys Jarvis, which causes
Yeah.
issues.
And that's pretty
then-
much the plot. The plot is that and stop Ultron. That's
Yeah.
basically the initial, and the rest is just how do we stop Ultron? And they basically follow him around the whole Earth
Yeah.
until we end up in Sokovia, right? Sokovia?
Yeah, we're skipping a couple things that we should probably mention. Is obviously the way of Ultron trying to do it. He needs to create a new body, so he gets vibranium and tries to upgrade himself, and then tries to create a physical new body.
Well, he's very obsessed on
Which
like upgrading. Yeah.
Then ends up becoming Vision.
Yeah, but that's not important to the plot. The main thing is we skip over to Sokovia, and he sends up lifting Sokovia and is gonna drop it like a giant meteorite.
Yeah, and a bunch of robot Ultron bots show up, and all the
Ultron bots.
Avengers gotta team up together, including Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yep.
Except,
And Vision,
And
newly
Vision.
acquired Vision, who was like as you mentioned, supposed to be Ultron's body.
Yep. but better.
Made out of synthetic and vibranium cells.
Yes, which because now we can just rebuild cells in this movie
Yes, correct.
by the one doctor whose name
The one
is
Korean
Helen
doctor.
Choi.
That's it.
Yes. But anyways, dislikes going back to that special effects, like I said, were 10 out of 10. My two big negatives are
The Scarlet Witch effects were also kind of
janky.
her like ones when it was just mind was fine, but like when it like actually flowed, it kind of looked really out of
Yeah.
place. It did not age well. I think.
Exactly. Dislike story wise, Natasha and Bruce. has
Oh
a
yeah,
weird
that's the
thing
first
and
thing I
then
have.
never gets
Did not
mentioned.
care for the Hulk banner and Natasha stuff.
Never comes back. Never gets mentioned again.
Probably because it was I assume
so
because it was
bad.
not well received is my
Yeah.
guess.
And then my other big thing is that this movie just makes the end of Iron Man 3 confusing.
I didn't write that, but yes, you're not.
But then you can make the argument because he destroys those suits that he's wearing, but then continues to make suits that have AI in it. But then that was also partial issue why Pepper was upset with him. And
Well, he
like,
has addiction problems.
So it's confusing. But alas, here we are.
And my last dislike, this one's more just like, for the memes. Teasing us with the Avengers Assemble.
Yes. The beginning of the teasing.
Because then I'm guessing around this time is also when the Fantastic Four film, the second run, must have been around. Because that's also when, like, what should we call ourselves?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
That's
four.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Say that again. Yeah.
But yeah, the teasing begins hardcore. And it's not as many dislikes as I thought. Some of the fights were cool. But yeah, importance to the story. This is quite the list.
Yeah, we'll go through your list first. You probably have all the stuff I have. So
Well, obviously we got Wakanda.
Yep.
Who ends up playing a massive part, not just because we end up getting a film all around Wakanda, but also because it happens to be a very important place for other films.
it's confusing because, like, based on the like when we get to Black Panther and stuff like that, if Ultron's this all powerful being that knows like tech and stuff like that, shouldn't have he been able to just break into Wakanda?
But maybe he knew there was an
But-
easier way. Less
Yeah.
effort. We get Natasha's backstory.
Yeah.
For the first time. We get Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, obviously. We get foreshadowing of the Infinity Gauntlet and what's to come. And potentially you could maybe swing that there is a little bit of a Ragnarok foreshadow. At first I thought it was. And then when we get we see Thor re-enter and it's only focused on the Infinity Gauntlet, it makes me feel like it's not, but you could maybe say it. We have Hawkeye's fam, which ends up playing a decent role. We have the Mind Stone. I feel like that's probably one of the biggest things. Vision.
Yep.
And I have down that Friday is now the AI for Tony Stark.
Yep. That's basically it. Then we just got a few Easter eggs.
Yeah, go on.
Obviously, Thanos at the end. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Kind of a weird, for me, I felt like that was a weird time to have.
Should have been
him.
at the end of Guardians.
That
but,
would have felt way more fitting.
Yeah.
Because he had nothing to do with Ultron.
Yeah, we also just don't see But I guess it pumps you up for like knowing that the next Avengers film will be
No,
Thanos.
definitely. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have
but
gotten
no.
this scene somewhere.
But I
It
agree.
just feels so
Slightly
out of place.
Yeah, we just focus so much on Earth being saved.
Yeah, and if he had any inkling of like influence on what happened, then sure.
Exactly.
But he didn't. So it did feel a little out of place, but still iconic. And maybe we will at some point for a Marvel Monday. Maybe we rank the post credit scenes,
That'd be pretty fun.
make a tier list of them.
That'd be.
But
pretty
this
cool.
is definitely high up there.
Yeah,
as
I
like
agree.
iconic.
Other big ones is obviously Andy Serkis' character, Ulysses Claw, who wears Ultron gets the vibranium stuff from. He loses his arm, and in the comics he becomes Claw, who gets sonic waves out of his arm, and obviously him getting his arm cut off is a Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
Because in
Does
all
someone
of
get
these
their
films,
arm cut off in Star Wars?
no way.
Oh, okay.
So, obviously, because this is around the time that Disney bought Lucasfilms, so throughout all Phase 2, we have an arm cutting off or a hand cutting off.
Yeah.
When Tony is looking at his desk to try and stop Ultron, we see a little drive on his desk that's named Jocasta, which is Ultron's wife. And we are getting a live-action version of Jocasta in the Vision show. So we'll see how that works.
Ultron's still relevant.
Yep. And then last but not least, Helen Choi, who is the Korean doctor, is the mother of Amadeus Choi, who becomes the totally awesome Hulk in the comics.
Comes the Hulk.
Yeah.
Stan Lee cameo was he's a war vet and he's at the party at the Avengers Tower and Thor's whipping out this 1,000-year-old booze and he's like, "Oh no, it's not for humans." And then he's like, "Give it to me." And then he gets dragged out.
Eggshell Shior.
wasted.
Yeah. And then obviously post-credit scene is Thanos Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Final
So
to myself.
overall, what would you say? What are you giving the Age of Ultron?
7?
7?
Like,
I think it's reasonable. I agree. 7. It definitely didn't scratch that same itch and reach that same height of the original Avengers.
definitely not.
But
it had its moments.
it had its moments. It was enjoyable, and it's very important for the MCU in terms
Yes.
of what it introduces, the different things we had at this point. We have no idea that Wakanda was gonna get films and stuff. Like
I
Black
mean,
Panther
at this
was gonna
point, we're not ever thinking that Wanda and Vision are going to get their own show.
Yeah.
Like,
And so the amount of branches that
Yeah.
start from this is great.
this is also the last time we see Hulk in a film for like
A while.
6 or 7 films at least, until Thor Ragnarok, which
So-
at that point is 2.5 years after Age of Ultron.
Yeah. Age of Ultron. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Join us next week on Marvel Mondays as we go over the last film of Phase 2, which is Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Okay,
Bye.
bye.